For over 100 years, IQ testing has been an influential force in the field of education, yet remains controversial. The purpose of this PowerPoint is to introduce the history, different theories, and controversies about IQ testing and its implications on students. The first usable IQ test was developed by Alfred Binet in 1905. He developed the test after being commissioned by the French Minister of Public Instruction to identify students who needed to be put in special schools due to low academic aptitudes. He viewed his atheoretical instrument as a practical diagnostic instrument and was not concerned to make a distinction between congenital and acquired feeble-mindedness. He believed intelligence was not fixed and could be treated through therapeutic courses in mental orthopedics. He would most likely be shocked to learn how his test was being used in the U.S. shortly after his death. Binet's introduction of the IQ test also coincided with the eugenics movement during the first few decades of the 20th century. This movement advocated the use of practices aimed at improving the genetic composition of a population. Three predominant forces, Lewis Terman of Stanford, Henry Goddard at the Violin Training School in New Jersey, and Robert Yerkes at Harvard, began a campaign promoting the use of IQ testing as a way to distinguish and separate the feeble-minded from the rest of society. All three concluded that Binet's IQ test provided a fixed measure of intelligence and could be used to detect those who were genetically inferior. They believed that IQ was fixed by hereditary, with environmental factors playing little importance. Many individuals were soon lumped into the feeble-minded and degenerate category. Poor people of all races, epileptics, drunkards, and even unemployed coal miners were among those profiled. People of certain races, such as African Americans, Mexican Americans, and Southeastern Europeans, were commonly considered inferior. Some believed that these individuals should be institutionalized, jailed, or even sterilized to prevent breeding. Legislation to uphold such measures were passed and enacted in some states. Additionally, Southeastern European immigration was stalled due to this movement, which was also becoming popular in other countries, most notably Germany. The horrors of the Holocaust would soon make eugenics theory unpopular. H. Goddard simplified intelligence and explained away all the troubles in society by creating a unilinear scale. He believed he could place individuals on the scale at different levels according to their intelligence. Through these levels, he advised society on how to control and monitor individuals assumed to be feeble-minded. In essence, he could solve our societal problems and limit or even prevent high-grade defectives or morons from joining and breeding with our endangered American stock. As we have already seen, IQ testing and race have had a controversial and turbulent history. In its infancy, IQ testing was used as a tool to measure and propose that there are so-called deficiencies in the intellect of certain races. Soon, many refuted these claims, and this battle continues even today. Those opposing the view that genetics solely or predominantly influences IQ contend that it is difficult to undertake research that directly explores the issues of genetically caused differences in IQ between racial groups. Research studies have not provided significant evidence about possible connections between racial ancestry and IQ. They also note that IQ scores of African Americans continues to rise with each passing decade, as more have improved access to education and other positive environmental factors. The eugenics movement became unpopular after World War II, others still continue to advocate the belief that IQ is primarily determined by hereditary, including racial heritage. Arthur R. Jensen became one of the predominant forces of this theory beginning in the 1960s. His theory supports general intelligence versus that of IQ as a statistical artifact. His arguments supporting his theory include correlations in IQ between degrees of kinship, transracial adoption studies, and differences in physical appearance exhibit differences in behavior. Jensen also believes that race genetics questions have been misrepresented and underplayed in the media and textbooks. His work is considered a pseudoscience by many in his field. The bell curve is easily recognizable in education, but many refute the idea that intelligence is normally distributed along the curve. One test score cannot paint an overall picture of a person's intelligence. Test scores do not take into consideration test anxiety or cultural differences in testing skills. It also does not assess all aspects of human capability, and it does not grant that a person can gain general intelligence in a lifetime. For example, your IQ remains the same at 9 as it does at 40. Additionally, just because someone tests with a low IQ, they are not necessarily predestined to have socially unacceptable behavior or to be accident prone. Some favor a more benevolent view of society that supports many types of intelligences, not just a general intelligence, since people have different potentials. Think of all the symphonies Beethoven would not have written had he been institutionalized when he turned deaf. We should not be constrained by one test that limits how a person's life should turn out. People throughout history have tried to define and measure intelligence in their own way. The more we've discovered, the more we've questioned what intelligence really is. All we know for sure is that intelligence is complex and mysterious, and we still have a long ways to go. So what does all this mean for the developing child? Well, through research and studies, we've discovered that early interventions, parental support, rich language experiences, play, socialization, and being read to by an adult is crucial to a young child's developing intelligence.